Ooh, there we are. All right. We're live, Kelly. Good to see
Good
you.
morning, everyone. Good to see you, David.
Happy Thursday. Thursday once again.
Throwback Thursday.
This is like a regular thing now. A Thursday. Oh, I wanted this so long to have a regular, look forward to it weekly live stream, and now we're doing it.
Woo!
If only we knew what we're doing.
There's that.
But I do know that this week we have our guest, Victoria Ferrari, with the awesome, awesome pink hair. I love that.
Yay!
What up?
Now, I know Victoria from Twitter. There's one of the cool things about our industry is we have a really fun Twitter community. There's just a bunch of people who are just there joking around, sharing memes and serious discussions. Chris is out there doing his thing, and it's just all positive. It's all good. And there's a bunch of people like Victoria that I feel like I totally know Victoria. I totally know Victoria. We've tweeted at each other all the time, but we've never actually chatted, I don't think. So I feel like I need an actual introduction. Can you tell me, what kind of work you do, what company you're with, all that kind of stuff?
Give us the
Yeah.
skizz.
Yeah. So I work for Conference Technologies, an integrator here in Houston. I've been in AV for 20 years, and
Not possible.
I was
I
going to say
know,
that.
like since I was 5, and and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I've been on the integration side for 6 years, and I love it.
It's funny when I first got into this industry, I was working at Wayne House Research, an analyst firm, and I was at the test lab. They had all this equipment, a lot of Polycom in Tamberg when Tamberg was a company, uh, uh, the cameras, and my job was to make them call each other. And I came from the consumer world. I came from a world where you go to the store and you buy something when you like it if it's a good product. You see it on TV, you see the commercial, and I just didn't understand channel. I didn't understand integrators, and I was like, "Oh, if I like this brand better than that brand, this camera is gonna sell." And the people who were teaching me at the time was like, "No, this company has a way better channel. They have a better relationship with the integrators. It's all about the integrators." I'm like, "What? Integrators? What are they doing? They're just getting in the middle and making it more complicated. Ew." And then it's like, "No, no, no. Let's. You need to meet with some integrators to see what they do." And I'm like, "Oh, they really help." So,
Oh, they really help.
right? I mean, because this well, it's and I should let someone else talk, but it's helping in different ways, and maybe that's something you can help us understand. It used to be helping by getting this stuff to work because it was so complicated. Now video is easy, so it's helping by working it into their workflow flows, so their team rooms work for them and stuff. But pandemic, what now? What are integrators thinking? What are you doing?
Yeah, so believe it or not, we already had a live events division, Conference Technologies did, and so now we were able to pivot, which is such a you know dorky buzzword, but we we've been doing virtual events, and even we have some in our pipeline of hybrid, where there's going to be less people in person so that they can socially distance, and then but we're doing just like kind of what you're doing with this stream. We make a really cool virtual environment, a landing page, and all of that. So we've been doing a lot of that, and it's awesome because we're breaking into more markets where usually you'd talk to planning companies and event companies, but now my corporate customers are like, hey, how can I do this? I need to bring people together. So we've been doing that. There still is a need, for office space and people coming together just in a different way. We're helping bring value to help them figure out, how can we make use of the technology you have and maybe add some things here and there to be able to safely have people come and meet in person, because ultimately, yeah, this pandemic sucks, and we have to be safe and responsible and keep people healthy, but people want to be together in person. That's just like part of our nature. It's human nature. So we'll get it figured out, and we try to find out what are their goals, what are their business goals, what are they doing to keep their employees healthy and stuff, and how can we add value to that. And so we've done weird random products too. Like our manufacturers are coming out with, digital signage that has antibacterial dispensers built in, so that's cool. But in my pipeline, we're still building out spaces. So
That's
So,
good news.
so I'm not sure which way to go now. I feel like I have two huge areas of discussion I want to dig into with you. Kelly, help me out. What should we do first? Because I want to talk to Victoria about what we're doing with live events, because
Right.
that's a whole thing, and I want to talk about what the meeting rooms are going to look like when we get back to the office. So, do we want to talk? Should we do virtual and then physical, or physical then virtual? I'm
I
too
think we
excited
should
about
do,
both.
I think first we should discuss your use of the word huge and your lack of H with the word.
Oh God. Oh God. I'd like to blame that on New Jersey, but my family makes fun of me for that. It's just me. It's just a David thing. It's just that my
Sorry.
own my own family. I'm like, oh, it's just my accent, and my family, they're like, no, you say that word wrong, and you need to. And I just can't.
well, I don't know what your, nationality is or whatever, but my family's Italian, and my parents came over on a boat from Italy, and this whole thing with H, like there's no H in the Italian alphabet. And so,
There you go.
my mom is a hairdresser, but so like she has to use that word a lot. And so she's an hairdresser. And my
That's
dad
hilarious.
has an even thicker Italian accent, and we make fun of him so much for, they don't, H does not exist in Italy.
So David,
No,
are you Italian?
no, I'm New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Just New Jersey.
Yeah, pretty much. It comes out when I talk to my parents. Afterwards, like, water, forget about it.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
my Minnesota accent's coming out a bit lately too. How's it going, everyone?
oh shoot, so cute.
Oh, shoot.
Oh
Bag?
shoot.
You say bag.
Bag, bag. I don't know. People tell me that my Minnesota accent isn't as bad as most, but it comes
No,
out sometimes.
It comes out sometimes.
It
It's a
comes
little.
out. That's Canadian.
That's
Come on,
Canadian.
David.
It's almost Canada up there. I was there. It was so cold. It was so cold. It was Canada cold.
Well, it's 40 degrees here in Minnesota right now.
That's crazy. I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that. I like the big mall though.
I'm not sure if it's still there.
See, okay, so that gets us back into physical spaces. So let's do the physical
Right.
first, then we'll
Okay.
do the virtual.
Sorry.
Oh, no, no, no.
Stopgap.
No, that was great. That's what this is all about. So yeah, we have to get back to the office. Even introverts like me, at first I'm like everyone's gonna hate me for saying this, but this is great. I can stay at
Yeah.
home. I'm very, very good at being social when I'm two-dimensional. I love being on video. I could be on video with people all day long. And then when the day's over, I do my stream and I'm on video with people more. I love it. For some reason, being three-dimensional with people can give me a little anxiety. When I go to the conventions, once I get out on the floor, once I'm at the second booth, I'm good. But just getting out of the house, getting on the plane, I'm one of those people. Introvert's not the right word, but
Maybe it's
just
awkward.
awkward. Awkward is totally the right word. Awkward is totally the right word. So I'm like, so I
what's
could
that?
still be
Seller's
social.
taco?
Yes,
Seller's
Seller's Taco.
taco. It gets very seller's taco sometimes. So, and I know some people. I know millions of people are super miserable because they are outside people and they're handshaky people and they're being in the room with people and this is really really hard and really bad. So I don't want to be like, that's okay with me. But for some of us it really has been okay. But even me, I miss people. I miss. Yeah, I used to go to a Guitar Center every Saturday and sit there and touch all the guitars and talk to all the other guitar nerds. And I'm not
Just
touching
picturing David at Guitar Center touching all of the guitars.
touching touching all the, and now we won't touch anything. I mean, I don't even know if they're open. If they do, would you got to wear gloves to touch the guitars? And talking. Oh my God. And so I haven't done that in months and months and months, and I miss that. And so even if when this is all over, all the bosses are like, you know what? You guys are way more productive at home. I was wrong about remote work being bad. Remote work is amazing. You guys are the most productive workers ever. Everyone just stay home. Everyone's going to say, no, we got to come in at least a couple days a week. At least a couple days a week. So to do that safely, what are we going to do? Just take out half the chairs in all the meeting rooms?
Yeah.
Is it is it that simple? I mean, is it put
I,
some dispensers on the meeting room tables so everyone can sanitize
well,
or
so Victoria, have you gone into any, I guess, and David too, have you guys gone into any offices since all of this started?
I don't
What's
even
it
want to go to the
like?
grocery store.
David hasn't left his house in 4 months.
I really don't want to.
Yes, I have. And it was definitely really weird at first. Because I didn't leave the house for a while. And to like go into a grocery store with like everybody's wearing masks and people are still kind of moving like they normally would. I mean, there's arrows and technically they're following the flow, but it just felt odd, like with the everybody wearing the mask. It was like, whoa, what is this? But going into office spaces, some spaces were more strict than others. Like I went to a place where they had to like take my temperature first, and I had to sign a waiver that I was not going to sue them if I got COVID.
Wow.
And like they opened the door, they squirted my hands with antibacterial. But other places were like, you just walk in, you don't even have to wear a mask if you don't want to, or half the people are wearing masks and half of them aren't. So it's not really, it hasn't been consistent from what I've seen, but it's been okay.
Yeah, I've gone to a couple offices probably within the last month or so, but yeah, it is interesting seeing the different dynamics of different organizations because I feel like the bigger ones are more hardcore, right? Because they
Mhm.
probably have more liability, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, some of the smaller ones, it's like you kind of wear a mask and then you kind of don't, and then you kind of do. And but it's also I'm staying with my mom, and I know your husband is high risk too, Victoria, and my mom is because she has COPD, and I'm staying with her because she's having surgery in a couple weeks, and it's like I need to be really careful, so it's like, and I'm back up in Minnesota, so it's like I want to see friends and do stuff, but I also have to be very, very careful. And if I'm doing anything or meeting up with friends, it's like I make sure that we sit outside and like, but yeah, the work thing is interesting because it's more awkward than I think being more seller's taco than being with your friends because it's like you have to adapt to what they're comfortable doing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, I could see that. I kind of feel the opposite though. Like, I feel like my friends are more willing to, adapt to whoever wants to be the most careful. It's like we'll do
Mm.
whatever that person.
yeah.
And I actually haven't. I've only met up with like a couple people, and it was outside, and we stayed away from each other.
Hmm.
Where the meetings that I've had for work, a lot of times we'd walk in, we're all wearing masks, but then once we sit down in a conference room, we sit far from each other. If there's like 4 or 5 of us, whatever, meeting, and I'm, giving them a presentation or whatever I'm doing. But a lot of them would say, hey, do you mind if we take the masks off, because we're far away from each other. And
Oh,
um,
totally.
yeah, also a lot of corporations are putting money into like scrubbers and special filtration and UV lights and things like that. um so
We
yeah.
should invest in those companies that make that stuff. Right? No, we're not allowed to. We're analysts. Uh, but but actually that brings a point, new gear. So in a meeting room, the meeting rooms were set up for huddling. We were even calling them huddle rooms at one point. So if you huddle, how do you set up your microphone? You have a speakerphone and you all sit around it and you all lean into it and breathe each other's air.
Yeah.
And how do you set up a camera? You point it at one end of the table and you all kind of kind of hug each other and huddle around the camera. But
Mini
now
arms.
we're yeah, that's a little dinosaur issue there. Um, but if we can't huddle anymore and we can't all lean into the speakerphone, do we need different equipment? Are we is are what are they called? Those beamforming microphones, mesh microphone
Yeah,
arrays,
Yeah,
cameras that do the moving and the tracking and the
auto tracking.
framing.
wide
Uh,
angle cameras.
is that stuff? I mean, that stuff was getting pretty hot anyway. Before pandemic,
Exactly.
that was huddle spaces and intelligent framing cameras were already getting super hot, but that just exploded.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
been awesome. The
Yeah.
other thing, I've had customers that are wanting to build purpose-built rooms where they can have a green screen behind them and give, webinars or,
Mhm.
record videos for their website. Where usually that used to be like a temporary space, or they'd go out and rent somewhere if they had that need. But now it's like they want to do this on a regular. And like I'm designing a room right now, helping a client out. It's going to be like two people, two guys, and they want to have like a nice background. They don't like the way their office looks. It's not executive enough or whatever. And so instead of spending a bunch of money on getting an architect and putting in marble or whatever, they're like, hey, we can just, make this look pretty nice with a green screen. So,
I
and the
mean,
right lighting and the right cameras and mics and all that.
we're doing the exact same thing actually
Oh,
for one
yeah?
of my friends' companies up here. Yeah, we don't have a green screen, but we just have like a really large kind of like photo backdrop that we're going to start with. But yeah, I mean, we're getting the switcher, the audio mixer, we got the table set up. Like I think, I don't know, I love that. I think it's such a
Yeah.
cool idea because then you don't have to leave. You can do everything within your office and you don't, it's not that expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Humans adapt, that's the thing. And if we have a way to figure out how to do something to achieve what we want to achieve, we're going to figure it out. It's been really cool to see like oh, sorry, my dogs are growling at each
Yay, puppies! That's a dog-friendly stream.
other. It's been
You
really
rolled on
cool.
top of me.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really cool to see the creativity that's come out of this, and it's for years to come. I mean, we have advanced technology, by leaps and bounds, I feel, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
What's the coolest thing you've seen? I mean, through all
good
of this.
question.
Well, it doesn't really have to do with
So,
AV, but
sorry to put you on the spot.
yeah. Um,
No, that's
I
a
mean,
great question.
I always loved the microphones in the ceiling, that because I used to never sell ceiling mics, but now the mics that are 2x2 tile.
Yep.
And I mean, they've, the first one to come out with it. Well, there's contingency of who really came out with it first, but whatever. I'm gonna say Shure. And I mean, they are almost defying the laws of physics with this mic that has hundreds of elements, So yeah, that I think that was really cool. And it's just getting better. And now there's other people coming out with that. But for as far as the advancements in technology, just seeing what Elon Musk is doing is incredible.
Uh-huh.
His Starlink stuff, where he's trying to bring internet to everybody, and he just ramped that up, knowing now that like there's tons of kids who maybe they're not going to go back to school, which I think that's sad. I think kids need to, be
Yeah.
with each other and be in school. But um, internet everywhere for everybody, that's a thing that's been needed for a long time. It should
Mhm.
be like a human right.
Yeah,
Food, water, internet.
it really is. It's at this point, it feels more like a utility than a commodity. I don't feel like I mean, there are some things I can choose to not have, right? I could not have coffee. I can't imagine, but I could choose to not have coffee. But I gotta have water. I gotta have electricity. I gotta have internet. You gotta.
Yep.
So,
In these days now, for sure.
yeah, no, for sure. I love the fact that everyone's doing so many virtual events and doing things online and trying new things like what we're doing. Um, in some ways, it's been I guess it's not fair to be frustrated because we're all learning and trying to do it and trying to figure it out and it's also new. But I see so many people just doing it wrong and doing it badly. Like they're just doing it the old way or they're trying too hard to make it exactly like we don't want to miss out on the experience of our physical event. So we're going to make our virtual event exactly like our physical event in every way. We're going to have booths. Maybe booths don't really work for a virtual event. Maybe it needs to be something
Hmm.
else. No, it has to be booths. All of our sponsors are going to have booths, and you can click and you can go in, and it's this. We found this vendor that has this software that's really weird that no one's ever seen before. No, just I don't know what the right answer is. I'm figuring it out. We're all producing a lot of virtual events, and they're all different. But um, I like when I see people doing something completely new and different, as opposed to just trying to make that old square peg fit into the round hole.
Yeah.
That's
I
just
think,
it's. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, it really depends on your audience and your need, the people's needs. If you focus on that, what's the story that they're trying to tell here? What's the goals that they want? What do they want these attendees to feel? Start thinking of those things instead of the technology first.
Hmm.
What were you going to say,
Exactly.
Kelly?
Well, I think it's just nice to hear positivity come out of this. Like it's so nice to hear like good news because there's so much bad news, and it's so. Thank you, Victoria, for looking at the positive side and coming up. Talking about. We're getting creative. We're changing the way we're working. We're changing the way we're living, and there can be some good things that come out of this. It's not all doom and gloom and the world is ending and it's the apocalypse. Like there
Well, it
can be
could be
some
that,
good.
but
It could be, but I mean, well, yeah, you're right. It could be. I don't
but
live in
what are you going to
I
do?
don't live in California either, so
Yeah, make the most
Yeah.
of what you have. I mean, you and I both, Kelly, we're pretty much like we try to look for the silver lining in things.
yeah,
And
definitely.
I think adversity breeds creativity, you know.
Yeah.
Agreed. And it's so fun to be part of an industry that has the opportunity to do it. You know what I mean? We're not, you know, thank goodness we're not in the restaurant industry. We're not in the necessarily, I mean, we are in the event industry, but we can take those live events and pivot it and do cool stuff with it. So we have the opportunity to, you know, to be the catalyst for good change and stuff.
A- and it really works out because not only are we in a place that we can do it as an industry, but the technology is ready for us. If I was trying
Hmm.
to do this 3 or 4 years ago, it would have been way harder and it wouldn't have looked like this. It would have been just a normal video meeting, probably pre-recorded, probably not even live. If it was live, it would have just been, would have been Brady Bunch video. But now, I mean, we got, right? We got our kitty cats. We got, yeah, we got my little coffee mug there. We have all our tricks, and we're gonna add a lot more. And anytime I do one of these, I say, "Oh, I should, cool it with the tricks and the kitties." People are like, "No, more, more." So we're gonna have a lot more fun stuff, and it's because the technology is so good now. It's not just the video conferencing, the streaming tools, the internet itself. The internet used to not be so good. It'd be like, up, downloading. Wait a minute, it stopped. Hold on, you're frozen. You couldn't do video over the internet. The internet was just terrible. And now we can do all these fun things. And I think that's what opens us up to creativity. And I think that ties into what Victoria was saying before about when it comes to virtual events, thinking about our audience instead of thinking about the technology. A lot of people that I'm consulting for these virtual events, they start with the technology and they say, okay, well, we're going to do a webinar so we can get people's emails and registrations so that we can give it to our sales team because our sales team loves that. They love calling people and saying, hey, you went to our webinar. Now can I talk to you? And is that really the best way? Well, that's the way we do it. That's what webinar platforms are. That's how they work. David, log into a webinar platform. What's the first thing you see? Registration.
Right.
Well, what if you just do it as a live stream and let everyone see it? If
Yeah,
people
or
like your
you can
product,
do
they're going
like
to call you.
you can do gamification, where you can have
Mhm.
like, let's do a scavenger hunt online. And, then at the end, you put in your email address and you can win a prize if you found the most thing. It's like, there's a way better ways to get email addresses than sign up for my webinar.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we did for an event. It was the Avengers AV event that I did with all those other awesome bloggers and people in the
That was
industry,
good. I like that. We should
and
do that again.
we should do that
David, do
again.
it again.
And what we did is exactly what Victoria suggested. 'Cause we had the discussion of, hey, let's just put it on YouTube. I don't want to ask people for emails, but there was also, some of the people that we work for have sales teams and want the emails. So what we did is one of the people was worked for Poly and gave and was able to get a Poly headset or something to give away. So we said, if you want a headset, give us your email to get in for the headset. And someone got an awesome headset, and we got our emails, and we didn't require registration for the event. So we got a little creative, we had a little fun with it, and we did it in a different way, and the viewers loved it. People were like, "Oh, I don't have to sign in. I can just click YouTube and watch."
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and that's the way we should do it. By the way, I love the idea of a scavenger hunt. I've had that idea, like mines. And it's been I haven't had the motive. Well, I don't say the motivation, but it's a big project. But what I want to do is set up, whichever one of these wonderful companies we want to play with, whether it's Zoom is there now. I just saw Blue Jeans before, but whatever it is, we set up a room, and using my the green screen behind me, giant hand, um, is a clue, and it says something like uh, the code for the next room is 999999, and the day that Columbus landed in America. So then you leave that one, and you go into that meeting room, and Kelly's sitting in there with the clue behind her. And you go from room to room to room. When you get to the last room, the first one in gets the T-shirt.
Oh, that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah,
That
you
is
like that?
cool.
Should we do that offline? You wanna do that with me? Let's do that.
I like it.
I just need 3 or 4 people who'd be willing to sit in a high five. By the way, congratulations on high five. Just got a purchase there. Um, yeah, I can get some LDV
Yeah,
T-shirts. I think that'll be fun.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of thing we're talking about.
I
People,
have no
you,
idea how to do a scavenger.
years ago that would have been way too hard. But I
Yeah.
don't think it'll be that bad. All right.
Well, on that note.
Yeah. Wow. I killed the conversation with that. That idea was so great. It killed the conversation.
We're just all in awe.
Well, do you wanna give a shout out to your company? Conferencing
Yeah,
technology.
Conference Technologies. I've worked here since February. Believe it or not, it wasn't, that bad starting with a company during a pandemic. They did some things really, really well. I mean, the communication they gave to us, the the way the leaders in the company just um, made decisions really quickly. I mean, they analyzed what they needed to do, but then they acted, and they communicated with us about what was going on and what we're going to do. Conference Technologies is an amazing company. We're headquartered in St. Louis, but we have offices all over the United States. We're part of the PSNI Global Alliance, so we have a global reach. Um, and yeah, I love it. It's my team. I've worked with literally the best programmers, engineers, PMs, techs that I've ever worked with in my entire life, and not just because they're good at what they do, but because they're nice people. And it's just I feel so blessed to be at this company. I really, yeah, I love it.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
You deserve it. That's so cool.
that's good to hear, right? That's really good to hear. Okay, cool.
Yay.
So in Houston area, are we?
Yeah, me
Houston?
personally, I'm in Houston.
Okay, and you, I don't even know I'm doing it. Texas. I'm,
Texas.
I'm really gonna start blushing now. Um, if you're, if you're redoing your organization to change your huddle rooms to social distancing rooms, or switching your in-person things to live events, reach out to Victoria, and she's there to help.
Yeah, thanks.
Woo.
Anything you want to shout out today, Kelly?
Just hoping everybody out there is surviving and making the best of it. And thanks for tuning in. And thank you, Victoria. We're so happy you came on the show. It's awesome.
Yep. And if anyone's watching, we're having another live stream today. We're going to be back with our friends from Video 360.
Yep.
Yay. All right. Thanks, Victoria. You rock. You're awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you so much.
This was fun. Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for watching. See you well either in a few hours or next week or whatever.
Whenever.
Sellers Taco.
Seller's taco, for sure.